Alright guys, so we're now able to search for users, and you can see as we type it'll search for a user. If we clear this out, well, that's one thing that's not happening, is if we clear this out, I want it to get rid of everything in the profile. So we're going to take care of that before we do the alert, which is actually really easy. So if we go back here where we have clear profile, this comment right here, we're just going to call from the UI class a method called clear profile. And we'll save that, and we'll go to our UI.js, and in here let's go to the bottom and let's add excuse me, clear profile. And then all we're doing is saying this dot profile dot inner HTML is equal to nothing. Okay, so that way if we try to search, comes up. If we go back and empty the search box, it goes away. So sometimes little, one line of code, it can change the user interface, it can change the user experience. All right, so now we're going to do the alert. If we get something that is not a profile, we want to have a little alert pop up. So let's go to our app.js and go to where it says show alert, and we're going to call UI.show alert. And it's going to take in two things. It's going to take in a message, so we're going to say user not found. It's also going to take in a class, or classes, which will be alert and then alert dash danger, which are bootstrap alert classes. Alright, so let's save that and go to UI.js and go under the show profile, and we're going to create show alert. And we should probably be commenting these functions. So this will be show alert message, and this will be clear profile. We'll say display profile in UI. So show alert again takes in a message and a class name. Now this is going to work just like some of the other applications we've created, like the book list application where we created an alert. So we're going to create a div from scratch. So we'll say const div equals document dot create element, and we want that to be a div element. Then we want to add the classes, so we'll say div dot class name equals, and inside here we're going to say the variable. Actually, if we're not going to add any other classes, we can just say class name like that. Alright, and then after that, let's add the text. So to do that, we're going to do div.append child, because we want to put it inside. And we want to create a text node, which we do with document.create text node. And the text is going to be the message, okay, the message that's passed in. And then to insert it, we want to first get a parent. So for the parent, we're going to call this container. I'm going to set this to document.querySelector. Now I'm not going to just use the container, the class container, because if we look at the HTML, we have two class containers. So it's going to look at the first one, and then things will not work correctly. So that's why I added search container to this one, because this is the one that we want. This is a parent to where we want to insert the alert. Alright, so let's go back here and let's put in here search container like that. Okay, then we want to get the search box, so we'll say const search equals document dot query selector, and that has a class of search. and then we want to get, or we want to insert the alert. So we'll say container, that variable container, and then insert before, pass in our div, which is the alert, and then the search, which is what we want to put it before, okay, because we want it before the search, or up here. I think that should be good. Let's actually try that. So if we go and type in something crazy, what's this? Reference error, UL is not defined. App.js on 20. Did I do UL instead of UI? I did. All right, let's try it again. So if we just type in crap here. All right, so now you can see we're getting user not found, and it just keeps going. It's every time we hit a user not found, it creates a new alert. Now, this obviously, we don't want it to act like this. We just want one notification, even if we hit multiple not founds. So the solution to this is going to be to clear the alert before we actually output it. So let's go back to UI.js and let's create a new method down here. We'll say clear alert message, and we'll call this clear alert. Okay, and then for this, we're going to first of all put into a variable the current alert, set it to document.querySelector, and get it by its class, which is alert. And then we want to check to see if there is one, or else we'll get an error. So we're going to say if current if current alert, then we're going to say current alert dot remove. Okay, that should work. And then let's go up here where it says show alert, and let's clear any remaining alerts by saying this dot clear alert. All right, let's try that. So if we start typing here, okay, and now you can see that we're not going to get more than one user not found. Now, another thing that I want to do is I don't want it to stay here, because once we find a user that does exist, that shouldn't stay there. So what we'll do, and that's a crazy picture, by the way, and so is this first one, the bee, the user with what is that? A chicken and a kid with a cigarette. But I don't know, whatever. So anyway, I want this to go away after 3 seconds. So we're gonna go down here and let's say timeout after 3 seconds. So to do that, we can use set timeout, which is a great little function, and we'll pass in here an arrow function because we can, and then we'll say this dot clear alert, and then it's going to take in a second parameter of the time, which is going to be 3000 milliseconds. So let's go ahead and clear that. Let's start to type. Okay, these are all found. We get to Brad TR, that's not found. In 3 seconds, there it goes away. We hit another user that's not found, 3 seconds, goes away. So that's exactly how this should work. All right, so our alert is working. So what I want to do in the next video is get the repos. See how we have no repos down here? Because the repos are not included in this URL that we fetched. It's actually included in this /repos, like that. Okay, so you see, this is exactly what happens when you don't register an API key and use that. And I'm not using my API key in the browser, so I've exceeded my requests. Now we can still do it through the application, because the application, when we fetch, if we look at GitHub, we're actually using the client ID and client secret in the URL. In the browser, I'm not, so I'm not able to do this anymore, unless I include it in the URL. But that's fine. we don't need to. It just gives us a list of repositories for that user. So in the next video, we're going to go ahead and fetch those repositories.